first subscription before we're even like going.
Shut
That's
up.
awesome.
MTG Young Mage,
Young
you
Mage with
awesome
the
little bro.
sub. Hey,
With that sweet
yo,
Twitch Prime, I'll
hey.
take it. That's awesome. That's the one
Yeah,
to
give
get
us
to.
your Amazon dollars.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
All right, we
Yeah.
are officially up and running. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mike's, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, and our co-sponsor CardHoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. I am Evan Irwin, and we start each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Aaron Campbell,
Hi.
Ruben Bressler.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. How you guys doing?
Doing well. It's been a while.
It's
2
been a
weeks.
minute. 2 weeks. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We are recharged and ready for gladiatorial combat, as it were.
Yeah.
We're giving you all the segments tonight.
Right.
Yeah, we have so many segments. We even have a red zone segment, ladies and gentlemen. It's
We're
been
fighting.
it's been a minute since we have
been
one
a
of
minute.
those.
You saw us playing nice during our set review, or hopefully you watched our set review because we worked very hard on it. But all that goes out the window because we are home, we are done with the niceties, and we're ready to fight.
Well, also another cool update to the show. We officially got our big boy pants on, and we have a sub button, and you can give us like bits and things on Twitch, which is totally
Oh.
cool.
Shout out to Mr. Lubufu, who gave us our first bits,
true.
and to MTG Young Mage, who was our first Amazon sub.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all should go to Young Mage's Twitter and his webpage and to support his Kickstarter, which we took a little bit of the steam away for. Like, this has been a big month for Magic Kickstarters, but definitely go check out Young Mage's. He wants to do reporting at Vegas, and I think that is a valiant thing and a noble effort.
Yeah,
and
he's
you
halfway
all
to
should
his
support.
goal. So his Kickstarter is to send him to Vegas, and yeah, he does videos. He's received several preview cards. He streams. He's a hardworking kid.
Oh man.
Yeah, and of course, Mr. Labufu has his cooking channel that's fantastic and is obviously another Magic content producer. So because you guys were first, we're giving you free advertising.
Yay. Well, thank you for the Maverick Girl for her 100 bits. Yes, we are an
Wow.
affiliate now. We're super affiliate.
I don't know what
Kendra.
bits are.
They are
I don't know
a
what they
different
do.
form
You don't know
of
what bits
dollars.
are. I
They're-
can't tell you.
They're different, right?
Yeah, in celebration of MTG Dom, we now have a sub button. So all those bits. Don't worry about the safe words. We'll get to that
Oh
later.
man,
All
well,
right.
we get started with our trumpet blast that you can get one if you support us at our highest level on Patreon. We don't have one this week, and as a result, we will kick it off with the first pick and the giveaway. Now, the giveaway, which we do for every release week of a major standard sets, is a free booster box. We're giving away an entire booster box of Dominaria. Oh my goodness! I have linked in both the chats. If you can link again in YouTube chat,
Yeah,
because they
we'll
hate
see if
us.
it works.
They hate us because they are not us, as it were.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's rhyme, but you were close. All
I
right.
know, right? Super close. See, it's not fun anymore to do the rhyme. You have to do the not rhyme to be cool.
You're a
about it.
poet, and you didn't even realize it.
See, exactly. Stuff like that.
More like a tragic poet, am I right? Just...
Very well done.
That is in Dominaria. All right, cool. But that said, we're going to get started with the first pick, of which being that the MTG Arena economy details were shared. Oh boy, you two can buy bits and gems and golds and all this other random stuff.
Were those the bits you were talking about?
No, those were bits for Twitch.
These are different bits?
Yeah, there's all these games.
I got to keep my bits separated is what I need to do.
All of these free-to-play games have their special gems and treasure chests and whatever magical thing that you have to buy that they don't call fun dollars. But today they unveiled a lot of the updates on MTG Arena and how its economy is going to work. For example, you're going to be awarded more gold. Gold you can use to buy packs. You can now get up to 250 or 100 gold for your first 4 wins, up from 200 or 50. So like they're giving you more so you can open basically a pack a day, I think is the way they worked it out. 750 gems is going to be $5. And you can use those gems to open packs. I think packs are 3 packs will cost 600 gems. So $5 gets you a little more than 3 packs.
I was going to say, this is like $1.30 a pack?
Yeah, $1.33 a pack.
Okay.
So, and then that ramps all the way up to 18,000 gems, which I think you can buy for $100 to get 90 packs. if you buy, so right now you can buy these once the update, I think it happens tomorrow. Once the update goes through, you can buy these on the beta. And when the beta is over, everyone's account is going to get wiped, but you're going to get all of the gems that you bought all over again.
Yeah, this is a really good money laundering scheme. No, I'm kidding. I guess it's a gem laundering scheme because there's no way to get the whatever.
There's
that's
no way
not
to
the point.
get
The point
you can't
is,
get it out. But the point is, yes.
Yeah, the point is that $1.33 is a really low price point. That is a pretty good deal as far as I haven't compared it to Eternal or Hearthstone or any of the other online games, but $1.33 for how many cards are in a pack?
8, I think it is.
Okay, so it isn't a Magic the Gathering pack. So
right.
Okay, so that messes with my math a little bit, but still,
Can I ask why that is? Why you don't get the full? It's 15 in a pack. Why?
I don't know, because they want to show more of the, they want to show the cards larger when you're opening a pack or something like that. But also they noted that separate currencies are happening. There's gold and there's gems, and never the twain shall meet. You can't make gold gems. You can't make gems gold. You can't do some weird conversion that way. So ultimately, and there's certain ways you can get gold out of gem events.
This isn't like Galleons, Nuts, and Sickles, where there's actually just like a strict wizard economy between them. That's not Harry Potter.
One that thinks this sounds complicated.
It sounds very complicated. I don't like that there's these dueling. I mean, I guess it's the same in Hearthstone when you have dust and gold, but for some reason that makes more sense to me.
Well,
I'll have to see it.
Well, there's also going to be constructed and draft events, which again, there's only one game. This one game thing is blowing my mind. Like here, could we have a sideboard, please? Can I please not have a front-loaded deck that?
Wait a minute, you guys don't get games 2 and 3. I haven't really participated in it.
No.
Aaron, you'll love Magic Arena because no one gets to sideboard in their Rest in Pieces and Graph Diggers cages against you. There's only game 1s. You will love this new format.
I heard.
Let me tell you.
Oh man, and I heard essentially you can play the glassiest of cannons on Magic Arena because you only need to get there once. That's it, and then you're done.
So decks like New Perspectives is probably a better deck. Those more glass cannon-y kind of strategies. In any case, I'm not in a rush for them to implement games 2 and 3. I'm not in a rush for them to implement sideboards as much as you are. Obviously, that should happen at some point. Otherwise, we're just, another one of the same chain of Hearthstone clones. You want to capitalize on what makes Magic magic. And that is the 2 out of 3 games. That is the sideboarding. That is some of the things that make Magic unique among these card games. And so I agree that at some point I would like for that to happen before probably the wide release, back when after you buy all these packs and then you get sent back all your bits and then you have to buy all the packs again. That I'm hopeful that it will be implemented. But before any of that happens, I want all of the other bells and whistles to function properly. I don't want any squeaky wheels. I don't want any of this. We'll get to our Magic Online segment where we make fun of something else that Magic Online did in just a minute. But I don't want any of that for the future. And then once you figure that out, then maybe we can, start to walk rather than crawl and get to games 2 and 3. That's my opinion.
That's fine. Well, otherwise, there's going to be constructed events, and they're going to be events much like in Hearthstone where you go for so many wins.
Yes.
This is also seen in Eternal and some other games, where if you get 4 wins, essentially you break even and you move forward. So you can either play 500 gold or 95 gems, which is about 63 cents, to play them. And you'll award a combination of gold and single cards, not wild cards. So that's a thing. But now drafts are coming.
That's the big thing, is that drafts are being implemented. That's what I'm most excited about.
Drafts will be 750 gems, also known as $5 to play. Now, at the beginning, you are not drafting against real people. You are drafting against bots. So, while that's weird, that's also super weird. However, they did make the best point possible, which is you can leave the draft and come back and keep drafting, which is kind of cool. Which other games do, by the way.
Does the draft happen without you?
No. It's a draft against bots. So if you leave the draft and go make a sandwich and do whatever you want, you can come back 20 minutes later and just pick up where you left off. Because the robots don't care to wait.
But that's not how drafting works.
Well, so?
I'm also
what monolithic tome says drafting has to be this, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you the guy, and we've been doing this show for 3 years now, weren't you the guy, or was it somebody on this show had a problem with it when they let you, something about like, so now league? So when you draft, you are not playing against people in your pod. Like
that was me. I had a problem with it.
Okay.
I loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I've told Wizards to do that crap 8 years ago, and you can go watch the videos about it.
But part of drafting is that you have to make your decision like right away, and that there's a clock going, and that the cards are going around, and it's fast paced, and so I don't know.
Until it ain't. I mean, drafting is what we define it to be, you know? And I think I love it when Wizards kind of goes back and looks, does a little self-reflection and say, hey, what if we don't really care about the exact other 7 people at this table and having this experience all at one go?
So is this the thing that's exclusive to the bots? Because if you make me wait 20 minutes while you get a sandwich, we're going to have some words.
Yeah, it's exclusive to the bots. Like, you're not
I was going to say, I'm not.
Right. And you have 7 games. If you win all 7, you get a whole bunch of cool stuff, which is neat. Now, the drafts are only going to happen on the weekends, at least so far, while Constructed will be available all the time, which is also kind of weird, I guess. Constructed events are supposed to allow players to continue playing MTG Arena and earn rewards even after they completed all their quests and daily bonuses and stuff. Draft events will be special events that are aimed at being a more approachable way to learn to draft. For that reason, they'll be more expensive to enter and will have higher rewards. Draft events only pay out in gems, while constructed events pay out in gold. So Wizards is testing draft events as a way for free-to-play players to earn gems without paying for them, allowing them to enter gem-only events in the future. So,
got it.
We got our gold, we got our gems. Okay. Our gems are not gold, or gold are not gems. You can't really cross the streams. You can't earn this different stuff with the different currencies.
I guess I'm very interested to hear more about you had alluded to, Evan, the fact that the drafts were supposed to be like for newer players or people who aren't drafters. I'm not a very good drafter. I don't have a lot of experience drafting, so I'm interested to see what exactly the allure is going to be for someone like me. Like, how are you going to get me to draft this when I wouldn't draft in any other way?
Right. I have an additional question, which is, you said that packs are 8 cards. How are they drafting?
The draft packs will be 14 cards.
Will be 14 with 7
why
bots,
not the other
and then
ones?
you play against humans. Yeah, this is weird. I mean, it's strange implementation. I'm okay with it as long as it functions.
Sure.
Clearly, they put a lot of hours into this to figure it out, but it's further separating what a physical Magic the Gathering pack is from the product that is online, which is fine. That's cool. But it is going to be a vastly different.
When they unveil these changes, I mean, is there like a developer blog where like they're explaining this, or is it just they're announcing that it's happening and there's no reason why?
No, there's a whole change blog thing on the MTG Arena forums, and there's some other places. Right. Yeah. There's some other places that they put that same information.
Okay.
And I know we're obviously going over this very quickly. The point is, they're getting drafting, but it's weird because you're playing against bots. I personally don't have a problem with that. I actually love that. I love the fact that, #5kids, something happens in the middle of my draft and like the kitchen's on fire or something ridiculous, or somebody stepped on a rake or something. I don't know. And as you do, I'm just making stuff up.
What a life you lead.
Right. Either way, to be able to say like, cool, I can literally get up and go do something, fight the fire, come back and continue my draft. That's a really cool
one of the allures of the league is that you can play on your schedule. You can play, if you're running hot, you can keep playing, or if you get some crushing losses, you can also choose to walk away or play another day. And so, I'm not surprised that they're making changes that lean more towards convenience in your own schedule. I guess I'm just gonna have to read the blog then, because I have lots of questions. So.
Yeah, it's a totally different. It's a new world. It's a new different product. It looks different. It plays different. They're obviously playing around with a lot of things. However, and this also came out today, and I have a huge problem with this. They are not currently implementing foils on Magic Arena, and I'm like, guys, don't you like that Hearthstone money? Don't you want that 20 mil a month action? Don't you like that? They have literally laid out the blueprint. It's right there in front of you. Make the premium versions. Yes, you're going to have to pay probably a handful of people to animate these cards, so when they're premium, they look like they're moving or like, doing something or whatever. You don't have to be a ton. It's not a ton in Hearthstone. Just just some amount of movement of like, they're holding a sword and they're doing this type of thing. Again, as they do in Hearthstone, it's not huge, it's not super distracting, but it's pretty cool and it makes it unique. And it's something that, gamers are going to go for and they're going to be excited about, and they're going to want to be able to pimp out their stuff and try to get lucky to open one, or, I don't know how exactly you get one. Maybe you'll get a wild card foil mythic or something. I don't know.
Right.
But the point is, no foils is a problem. No foils is not how Magic works. Magic has had premium cards for 20 years almost.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta figure out what makes Hearthstone popular and what it does right and what do they want to do differently. I don't believe you should change this. I believe you should absolutely have foils in MTG Arena.
I don't disagree. Here? I like the animated cards idea that Algo Torani came up with as well, with hashtag that Shadowverse money. But they definitely the animated videos that were the hype videos for Dominaria were amazing, and to have that in the art, you can implement that on Magic Online, and so that would be cool too. There are so many ways to do this, but again, all I want is a program that functions smoothly and lets me play Magic. Let's add the bells and whistles later. I just want to get to the end of the driveway before I drive into a tree. You know what I mean?
and I get that. And what I'm saying is, like, ultimately, I am totally fine if it's going to be coming at some point and they're going to figure it out and whatever. But like, to just be like, nah, it doesn't need foils. Like, I think it literally needs foils to be as successful as they want it to be, as they're imagining this giant cow of money and how the cow makes the money. Yeah. Part of that money is in those foils. Don't screw it up. Just don't
make the money. Don't make the money make you. Am I right? All right. Let's move on.
Very nice. Good job. Gather townsfolk. We got lots to talk about. All right. So I teased earlier today on Twitter that I was going to drop some knowledge.
You tease.
I know, I'm the worst.
Nobody likes a deck tease, Evan.
Great. So
I like the deck tease. I forget who hosted it, but
wow. Well, let me tell you, the sales figures of Dominaria are amazing. They are literally more than double of Ixalan.
Wow.
That is huge. Now, obviously, I'm talking about there's the cool stuff angle and what cool stuff is seen. However, we're a fairly large retailer. I feel like we have part of the market trends we can see. Yeah. And the set is monstrous. The set is still selling amazingly well. I just spent $70 on Magic Online over the weekend playing at events, and we'll get to that later. And I didn't do that for Ixalan.
I played Sealed, and I don't play Sealed. I was not able to go to pre-release because my cat got sick and was recently stricken blind. My cat is now blind, and so I didn't want to go too far from home because I wanted to keep an eye on her, no pun intended. And so I even played in a Sealed event. I played in the 9-round, the thing with the 3 phases, where you play 3 rounds in a phase, and then depending on how well you do, you can either open a pack to upgrade your deck, and then you move on to the next phase. And I had a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed myself, and I wouldn't have done that. I haven't had the urge to do that for Ixalan or previous sets, but seeing how excited everybody was about Dominaria, I was like, I should do this and see what all the hype is about. And I even had fun playing Sealed.
I'm seeing lots of folks in the chat say that their pre-releases ran out of pre-release packs.
I saw that.
I saw lots of Twitter chatter about multiple of the same store running out of multiple pre-release packs for their events over the weekend.
Records being broken.
Yeah, attendance records, absolutely. And so, Evan, you had boots on the ground at Cool Stuff, where you can get Cool Stuff in stock every day. What was the in-store situation? I mean, Cool Stuff's obviously massive and has a bunch of locations, but was there any worry of running out?
Well, we have 7 stores, and 2 of them completely ran out of product.
Sure, and I know Florida's tough to get product for. Because it's on a peninsula, and that's how Florida works.
For pre-release, which is
pre-release stuff, yeah.
Right, and that's fine. But ultimately, and it's also about your WPN level and whatever.
Yeah.
But someone mentioned, this is from Riptide Pro Lab. Thank you very much for the bits, by the way. How does it compare to BFZ? It is better than Battle for Zendikar, and I'm telling you, if you are in the industry,
even in the same league,
if you are in the industry,
right,
Battle for Zendikar was a big deal.
It was.
Now, it sucked. It ended up sucking. And we're sorry it sucked, and that was a problem. However, when it showed up, the hype was nuts, and the sales were cray. And for Dominaria to beat that, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So, this is the part where we get to say, Wizards, you killed it. You did it. You made an amazing set. It's absolutely fantastic. It's gorgeous. It's super fun to play. I am so pumped by it.
It does all the things on all the right levels.
It's just great. It's absolutely fantastic. We'll get a little bit as to why that is maybe a little bit later, but I promise to drop some numbers. Is
this a one set block, or is there two? Like we get one more?
No,
this is it.
This is it. This is all you get. And then we get Magic Core Set 19 in July or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but Dominaria is just it's absolutely.
I thought we were doing I thought we were on a two sets.
Nope. Now
we had Ixalan and Rivals.
Right. No, that was the last ones. So this was literally the start of one set blocks. Now they've said that they very well could carry like a large set, another large set, and they could be connected in some way. But this is the first of the sort of one set block. They put everything into it, and I think you could tell. I mean, wow, the set is great. Sales are unbelievable, and that is awesome because it's
great.
Make Magic fun. Let's do it. I mean, that's terrific.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it's the best game, but you can only take so many Iconic Masters in a row. Right? Or Battle for Zendikars that have the big build up and then the itty bitty response.
Yeah,
this one having the big build up and being good and everybody loves it. That's nice.
Bigger than Unstable, absolutely. Unstable was very popular, but like standard sets.
Unstable didn't have the build
up. Are up here.
Right, exactly. This is having the Battle for Zendikar build up with the Unstable acceptance.
Yeah.
This is the best of both worlds.
I mean, literally, I can't say much wrong about it. Like, did I get blown out every once in a while and sealed? Sure, but like, there's tons of answers, tons of play. All of it's exciting. The sweet little callbacks that only you get, but they're not so in-jokey that they make it weird, Yeah. Like, I know what Howling Golem means. That's really cool. And you don't need to know anything else, but if you get it, it just adds that extra layer of sweet on top.
It's been neat seeing the cards appear in different formats. Obviously everybody's been testing Damping Sphere. Vintage, I ran into a Voltaic Servant the other day being paired with Steel Overseer, which is a thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Rich Shade Stream had that one.
The Shops players have been trying the Dragon engine out, which again plays very well with the Voltaic engine, but even just the Voltaic Servant, but even by itself, your deck is literally just artifacts. It shouldn't take much to untap it. Obviously EDH players, I got the chance to play a Muldrotha deck the other day, which cost me all of 20 tickets on Magic Online, and I crushed my pod with it. That card is so much fun. So the Commander players are loving it. The Standard players are loving it. There really is something for everybody in every format, and I can't think of any format that's not going to be affected by these cards.
Oh, man. So congratulations, Wizards, again. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Move on here to another topic. What they describe as a commitment to excellence. This came out a few days after our last show.
More like a commitment to PR.
They were just like, whoa, we have to come out here and say something because the Dominaria cards themselves, the physical paper cards, are different. Now, this to me it took a long time to move that ship and turn it in a different direction. They're now using, I think they say, sort of the Japanese coding method. It's kind of weird because they say, hey, this is Tim O'Hara, and he was the senior vice president of finance. Okay, all right, so you're in charge of the money, right? And then they're like, hold on, can you also be in charge of how we make the cards? Is that a little weird for anybody else? Is it just me?
Weird.
Or you're the finance guy, right? Let's go over here and talk about paper and trees.
Well, I mean, if one is affecting the other, like if the poor quality is affecting the money, I could see why. I could see how the money guy's going, let me in. I'll handle this.
He's the man in charge of the paper.
I used to have a supervisor when I worked at Chase. I remember I worked under her team, and one of the first things she said to me when we had like our introductory meeting is she was like, "We're gonna get along fine as long as you don't f with my money." And so I respect somebody who's just about that.
That's awesome. So essentially he was saying that, there should be a different feel in your Dominaria cards. As with their adoption of best practices from our primary printer in Japan, we're rolling out a new coding method for cards. And from what I understand, they even smell different than Magic cards used to smell.
Who smells them?
You don't smell your
cards? Magic cards?
No.
You've held them a foot from your face for the last decade and a half. You've never smelled a Magic card in your life?
Not intentionally,
like that new pack smell?
You don't got that new pack smell? That's what I'm talking about.
That new pack smell. There. You know what I'm talking about.
Man, you haven't Aaron.
Aaron.
Where have you? What?
Oh man.
Is this a thing? You guys smell your freaking weirdos?
No, it's like it's just like it's like grandma's cornbread or whatever for me. It's like there's certain smells
like
where you're
an
like
old book.
You're
I love that mossy. Smells like 1884, right? Like you pick up old books and you want that smell. I open a new pack of cards and I'm like, that's delicious. Or you open like a thing of fruit snacks and you dump all the fruit snacks on the table and then you get that one tiny whiff of breathable fruit snack air. You don't do that? Maybe I took it too far. But I think people do open their Magic the Gathering card packs and smell the cards, and they do smell
good. I've had like the smell just happen to waft up. Like when I crack a pack, sometimes there's that whoosh, but I've never intentionally like lowered my face or put the cards to my
You are missing out.
Aaron, you should do that.
You should check that out.
And then you should do that with a pack of non-Dominaria that you got laying around, and then do that with a pack of Dominaria and compare the two smells because, as we've heard, they are different.
Well, maybe I'll have to do that on the Patreon stream on Sunday because I'll be doing a Patreon stream. So maybe I'll have to have some packs and sniff them.
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Well, speaking of packs and I guess smelling them, we have a different pack from New Zealand. Now, New Zealand were the test case for MTG Arena giveaways, and someone actually posted a picture. I have it on here on the screen if you're watching. Cool. Of it has a Magic the Gathering Arena, sort of police tape, if you will, on top of it, saying the arena and a reward inside, and inside it says enjoy a Dominaria booster or some gold and a Dominaria card on us. First of all, apparently only 10% of people got the booster and 90% got the gold and the Dominaria card, which is a thing, I guess. I don't know why you couldn't just be like, here's your stuff. Here's a booster pack for your booster pack. Like, is that a problem? Was that a bad thing?
Very your own adventure.
I don't understand what was wrong with that, but it was cool, like seeing those sort of baby steps of like actually putting it on the actual packaging. No more like here, it shows up at the Pro Tour broadcast one time, or it's a random article on magicthegathering.com. Like, this is the official, they printed a booster pack with a thing in it, with a code in it that works. That's awesome.
I'm happy that they're doing the test market thing. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I know what it's like to live in a test market. But this one, you don't need a test market for. Like, there have been so many card games that have done this exact thing. Why Pokemon did this already, the WoW TCG did this already, why do we need to even test whether or not this is a profitable venture? It makes sense. It's fine. It works. Because this is a thing that works, guys. Just do it.
It's quite the scale, I guess, is the question, right? Like, we're talking about little tiny island New Zealand versus like the planet and 11 languages and all this stuff all at once. Let's make sure it works with these people, and then we'll keep
New Zealand
going.
Makes sense because it is isolated. It does have a large Magic Online population because it's tough to get to larger tournaments, and so places that are further away from most major cities, not that they're, Auckland is a relatively major city, but it's tough to get to GPs and tough to get to Pro Tours and stuff like that, while also having a bustling Magic the Gathering scene. So in my head, if I'm thinking, what are the best places to do this experiment, I immediately go to South Africa and New Zealand, because they're far away from GPs and they're just kind of in the core. It's tough to go to RPTQs in those two places, for example. It's tough for a New Zealand Magic player and a South Africa Magic player.
All I know is someone mentioned that to quote specifically, "Bits be raining" if Aaron was caught sniffing packs. I'm just someone says that they would watch Aaron sniff packs. I'm just letting you know we have now created a demand, ladies and gentlemen.
You guys should know that I have received no less, I'm looking at my phone off to the side of me, I've received no less than 2 direct messages on various social medias saying, how in the world has Aaron never smelled Magic cards?
That is, from day one, man, you open that Ice Age starter pack, and it was just like, oh my God, it was magical.
It's
it brings
a sensory
me back.
experience, Aaron. Yeah. You look at the cards, then you hear the cards, right? You feel the cards, and you smell the cards. I wouldn't recommend tasting the cards. We haven't gotten quite that far. We don't have
Wow.
That's it. Our next Kickstarter is going to have an ASMR pack sniffing stream.
Yes. ASMR is so strange.
Yes. It's so weird.
I love it, and it's going to be with Aaron, and we're going to do it. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
My God.
Look, it's Twitch. You pay us money, and we'll do it.
I guess so. Wow.
Maybe we'll make it a sub goal or something. That would be insane.
Maybe I've got it all wrong. I've been like a fool. I've been trying to stream Magic Online. Maybe I just need to stream myself sniffing packs.
I don't know if that's a weird hashtag off-brand.
You started this.
All right, we got to keep moving.
I started it, but I regret my life now. And
all right. Well, now next thing we know, ASMR stream is going to be terrific. Okay.
ASMTGR.
Wow. Well, look, there's some policy changes coming from the judge, side of things for Dominaria. And there's a couple things that they are clarifying, a couple things that they're fixing on a wide scale that they fixed on a small scale. And for example, on that one, on the small scale, they fixed the fact at the last Legacy GP, you could use a proxy via a judge for Kess. What was the name of the full card?
Dissident Mage.
Dissident Mage. The Dissident, I couldn't remember. So Kess Dissident Mage has only a foil printing. There's no other printing available for her. So you had to do something, which was essentially, again, the judge writes Kess on a planes or whatever. And now that's official. They can officially do that as long as there's only a foil printing of the card and there's not a non-foil, and it marks the deck as a result of being foil. So, okay, sure. Also, there was that time where Gabe Nassif got completely blown out at a Grand Prix because a Dryad Arbor kind of hung out down near the forests. That's not okay anymore. The same rules that have that essentially go over the coverage matches now apply to non-coverage matches. So you have to keep your lands in the back, your creatures in the front, graveyard underneath your deck.
Nope.
They'll call a judge on you.
Let them. I'm not that. So I just want to go back to the Dryad Arbor thing because the specific wording is very clear. It says, however, permanents that are also creatures, and they specifically name artifacts with March of the Machines on the battlefield, Dryad Arbor, or a treetop village that is currently a creature must be placed in the non-land area. Players may not use other cards to intentionally obscure the presence of a permanent in any area of the battlefield. So the graveyard part, it says the player's library, graveyard, and exile cards should be kept all to the left of the battlefield or all to the right of battlefield at the player's discretion. I sure won't. The player's graveyard and exile card should be adjacent to the player's library. Nope. But at the bottom, it says, and I appreciate this, tournament officials may make exceptions or additions to these guidelines at their sole discretion in order to keep each player's game layout clear. Players in exceptional situations, e.g., a player playing a deck with no lands or a deck that makes significant use of the graveyard, should consult with tournament officials to determine what allowances, if any, will be made. I will be calling the TO every time. Like, I will let them know weeks in advance. Like, I'm coming. I ain't doing it that way. This is how we're doing it.
Wow.
If you're dredging more than 4 cards, consult your doctor.
If
bottom line
you've not stopped dredging in 2 hours, go get medical help.
Ask your doctor if you're healthy enough for safe dredging.
Right.
There's yeah. Look, I get that you're trying to, build a building second story first, and that's cool. And to be fair, you don't have a big battlefield. You've got like a diva or 2, and then suddenly 70 zombies, but the 70 zombies are only there for about 30 seconds.
We fan out our graveyards because, and I feel a lot of people compare this to the lands in front argument of, well, why are you impairing my experience, if you will? Some people have been, we had some very polite discussion about this on Twitter, and some people have said, why does this need to happen? And my response to that is, I understand that I'm playing a broken deck, and I'm trying to do everything I can to be as above board as possible. I want you to have all of the information. I want you to see everything that's going on. I'm announcing everything I'm eating with Icarid because I don't want you to say, Judge, I don't know what's going on here. Judge, her graveyard's not in order. I'm doing everything I can so you can know what's going on. This is really the only relevant information I have. I don't have a hand. Like you said, I only have 1 land on the battlefield, maybe a bunch of tokens. This is relevant information for you, and that's why I'm making sure you have all of it, because I know that if I don't do this thing, there's going to be hell to pay, because if I do put everything in one pile, that's not good. You know, I don't want to create the illusion that I'm doing something underhanded. I want it all to be out there. And so, you know, I'm not trying to sound too grandiose, but I'm really doing it as a courtesy. It's like, this is everything I have going on. I'm happy to show you my work. This is why I'm doing it.
I'm calling.
And I actually completely agree with you, but I'm just giving you crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally want my Dredge opponents to do that. You know, and my Storm opponents to, like, you know, show me how much Storm and mana they have, and you know, there's a reason why those were Evan's #1 and #2 worst mechanics of all time this week. Is because they don't play Magic. They do
but
something else.
I do appreciate, though, that they do acknowledge those of us with those decks and say, hey, we're happy to make an exception. And to be fair, if an opponent ever said to me, hey, you're kind of taking over my battlefield right now, I'd be happy to accommodate that. But for the most part, people...
No, the answer to that question is, hell yeah, I am.
Yeah.
What?
Pat Chapin
what? I'm sorry?
Dominate the battlefield with real estate and put all your basic lands everywhere. I love that.
Jeez. All right, we're going to move on here to the BNR update. The ban and restricted. Did you know there was a ban and restricted update that happened a while ago?
I knew that there was a ban and restricted update, and no justice for Earthcraft. No justice for Earthcraft ever in my lifetime. Free meat mill, free Earthcraft. Free Weezy.
Always with the Earthcraft. Always with the Earthcraft.
Fine, I'm over it. But yeah, no changes, which I was not totally taken aback.
We have MTG Dom. We now have a sub button. No Earthcraft though. It's right there.
No.
It's a little disappointing. You know, I think somebody on Twitter had said it best. You know, I would have liked to have seen, they were doing really well for a while there in terms of giving you explanations. And so even though there were no announcements, and you can certainly argue whether or not, you know, that was the right call to make, but it would be nice to know that they still at least have been keeping an eye on things, that they're hearing the criticism. You know, in Vintage, there's been a lot of talk of mental misstep needing to go. I've been seeing people play decks in preparation for that possibility if that were to go. People have been playing Vintage lands lately, which I'm not really sure why, but okay. Obviously, there's a lot of chatter around Deathrite Shaman. It would be nice to hear them say, hey, we've at least heard you, and we're keeping an eye on the situation, and at this time there's something to report. But it was literally just no changes. And it was like, there's been conversation. Like, you'd have to be, you know, living in a bubble to not hear what people are saying.
Well, I certainly think
even unbannings. You know, Modern is great right now. You know, you could argue about Hollow One all day and variants and Burning Inquiry and stuff, but you know, there's been a lot more discussion as to that Modern's great. You can maybe even unban some things, and so it would be nice to hear them say that too. Of hey, we see how great Modern is. They you know, maybe we're
they just unbanned the most insane cards ever,
and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, so I think that opens the door for maybe some other things. And so, again, it would be nice to hear them say, hey, we see this conversation happening around us. You know, we're going to look into that or something like that.
Sure. All I'm saying is I think the formats are in great shape. Beyond the silly Vintage, we won't restrict Workshop because Workshop, the same way we won't ban Brainstorm and Legacy.
Did you see that he went on record in saying that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The pillar of the format discussion. They also said that about Brainstorm. So Brainstorm ain't going anywhere either in Legacy.
No. Yeah, Aaron Forsyth himself said it. So,
I made a vow.
Go invest in some shops.
I made a vow if they ever banned Deathrite Shaman in Legacy, I would dance naked in the street. I had the street all picked out. I know exactly what's happening.
It's very rural street, not the most traffic-laden street ever.
Yeah, the only format
like an alley into the street. It's very flash dance, but it's happening.
The only format that needs any sort of maintenance right now, turns out, is Brawl. As I don't know if we're talking about this in the show.
I tried Brawl the other day.
6 of the top 8 and 17 of the top 32 were Brawl, Chief of Compliance Brawl decks.
Which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because look at how much Brawl has dominated 1v1 Commander. I mean, it's a no-brainer that it was going to translate into this format. I was more concerned by the cards like Gideon's Intervention, where I had
Sorcerer's Spyglass.
Right, and so if you happen to be playing a deck that doesn't have answers to that, and maybe we need to be playing answers to that, I don't know, but you know, one of the nice things about multiplayer is that if your deck isn't equipped to deal with something, you can sort of use politics or negotiate to have your friend help you of, hey, this thing's really bothering me. I promise not to mess with you if you just get rid of this thing. But when it's 1v1, it's just you. And if God help you, if you're playing a mono black deck and someone slams a Spyglass, what are you supposed to do? Like, you literally have no options, and it feels bad.
Yeah, it's just interesting. But ultimately, I'm happy with no changes across any formats. I think they're in good spots. Silly gentleman's agreement bull crap aside, whatever. Yep. All right. Moving on here to the first woman to win a GP. Aaron, you want to tell us about that one?
Yeah, so Jessica Estefan is a young lady who I've been following on Twitter for a while. She's extremely delightful and hardworking. She's been grinding for a while. I believe she's from Australia, so shout out to the Down Under girls.
Yeah.
But she recently played at Grand Prix Sydney with her teammates, Ryan and Lachlan, I believe is how you pronounce that. And they just won the GP, like you do.
Just casual.
And she was playing Black Red Hollow 1, and it was nice keeping up with her progress throughout the day. And before you knew it, they won. And this is something that has been Grand Prix have been running since 1997. We've certainly had women top 8. We've had women, do well at opens, but this is the first time a young lady has won a Grand Prix. And this is a really, really big deal. And in addition to something else happening that weekend, which we'll also talk about, this was a very good weekend for women. And this was very inspirational, motivational. And it was just so great seeing the outpouring of support for Jessica and her team. And this was a very big deal. I was very proud of her.
That was awesome. So congratulations to her. Which is
my favorite part of that, by the way, was that Channel Fireball did some of the post-game interviewing, and they didn't even realize that any history had been made at all. They were just like, hey, how's it feel to win the GP? And they were like, we felt pretty confident. Going into the weekend, we thought our deck choices were good. We had this was a team that we lost to in the Swiss in the finals, and so to be able to beat them in the finals was really nice. And, yep, we're going to go to work tomorrow. And there's just no one
Wow.
realized what it had. It was amazing.
I think people weren't sure. I think there was some issue.
Sure.
There was some curiosity of is it really? There has to be someone, and no.
It turns out they'd never won. There was a second place at Grand Prix New Orleans in 2001.
JD, I think, also was second at Grand Prix Chicago a while back.
JD was also had a runner-up, and then there'd been a couple of other top 8s as well. And of course, Melissa DeTore in the top 8 of a Pro Tour, but no one had ever won a GP, so it's great to see.
That's awesome, which also pivots right into Autumn Burchett.
Yeah, Autumn Burchett is So Autumn is from the UK. They were also the captain of the UK team, I think, last year or recently. But Autumn's been killing it on the competitive scene recently. They stream with Card Hoarder. They're part of the Card Hoarder network. But Autumn won a Mox.
Yeah.
So Autumn gets let me just click on there's a list of everything that Mox opened up for them. So they're now qualified for the Magic Online Championship. They're now qualified for Pro Tour Dominaria. And this gives them a shot at the English captaincy if they do really well. And
which will be back to back. I think they are reigning national champion.
Yes, and so this has just been a huge weekend for them, and it was just very motivational to see two people who I really respect and love do very well at this game, and it also opened the doors for other people like them to want to do well, and it was just a really good weekend. There was a lot of good energy on social media.
That's awesome. And I guess lastly, we kind of just put the cherry on top here, Aaron. You want to tell us a little bit about this super cool new shirt that Wizards debuted?
Yeah, so Wizards also came up with they're selling a T-shirt in coordination with, I believe, a charity
the
Lambert House. Why am I not finding the link anywhere?
It's right there on the doc. I don't know what to tell you.
Did you hide it?
I did not hide it. It's
okay. Here we go. Reading is what? Fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
So Wizards of the Coast launched
Reading
a
the
fundraiser.
doc.
So Wizards launched a fundraiser with an organization called the Lambert House, and you can buy either a D&D symbol, the ampersand, or the Planeswalker symbol in rainbow in the Pride colors. We are approaching Pride season, if you weren't aware, and the money goes to this charity. I picked up a T-shirt. I think Ruben did as well.
I did. I got the ampersand. I think Aaron got the Planeswalker.
Yeah. So they've raised over $6,650 right now. 499 T-shirts sold, and this is just a fantastic thing. Wizards really doubling down on that commitment to help out and to appeal, and it's just really nice.
Yeah, that's super cool. So go out there and get your shirt if you'd like one. Support a great cause.
Say what you will about the card quality, but their T-shirt quality is always on point.
I've never bought really nice, soft.
My Liliana one I still wear. Their T-shirts are good stuff.
Very nice. All right, so we're moving on here to Desperate Ravings, where Hasbro came out and was like, guys, we don't know how to say this. We didn't make $100 million we thought we were going to make.
Right.
And
as good as Dominaria was, the first quarter report was less than spectacular.
Yeah, Dominaria is not included in this at all.
Yeah, of course.
But, the net loss for the first quarter of 2018 was $112 million, where they chalked up, I read somewhere they chalked up about 60 of it to Toys R Us, which they have, and even still, that number may still be going, because more than likely there are open invoices right now for Toys R Us, and if they go through the full liquidation thing, when they liquidate a company, all the debtors, they basically have big buckets, and whoever they owe the most gets the most of the money that you liquidate out of it, and that could still be going. However, they do note, and they try to mention it as little as possible, that Monopoly and Magic both underperformed versus previous years.
Yeah, I mean, the Toys R Us thing wasn't a surprise. If you looked at any of the news articles covering the Toys R Us story when it broke, most of the articles included some mention of the fact that Hasbro was going to feel some pain from this, that it was going to show up in the book somehow. And so I wasn't surprised to see this, but it was interesting to see how many people were blaming this on very surface issues of it's the card quality, we knew it, or it's diversity, we knew it. And it's no, girl, this is something that, it was foreseen to have been a possibility, and it looks like it happened that way.
And the other thing is that that was basically mathed out in the Reddit thread on this is that the quarter one releases from 2017 for Magic were Ether Revolt, Modern Masters 2017, and the Dual Decks, Mind vs. Might. This year it was Rivals and Masters 25. That's what we got for quarter one. So obviously we're going to go down in numbers. But quarter two,
because Modern Masters 2017 was amazing.
Yeah, it launched through the roof.
Big shoes to
fill. It was
fill.
crazy. And there were just 3 against 2 in general. Mm-hmm. Last year for quarter two was Amonkhet, Arch Enemy, Nicol Bolas, and Commander Anthology. This year's quarter two, here it is. Elves versus Inventors, Dominaria, Commander Anthology 2, Battle Bond, and Signature Spellbook Jace are all coming out in quarter two. The quarter two numbers are going to be astronomical for no other reason than that's how a calendar works.
Well, I mean, one of those products we know has done well. Dominaria has come out of the gate very strong, but a lot of those, at least 3 or 4 of those are newer products, like the Spellbook,
the Battle Bond,
Battle
Bond. Those could go either way. I mean,
we have heard nothing about Battle Bond other than Sports World.
Excuse me, hold on. It's called
Giant
Battle Bond.
Hey, y'all.
I mean, I would love for that to be the case, and certainly Dominaria will have a huge impact on that, but we don't know what those other properties are going to perform like.
Well, the Spellbook's doing just fine. I believe we still may have some up for pre-order on Cool Stuff Inc., one of the only places that does so. Because it's treated very much like the From the Vault products. You're only given so many based on your WPN level, yada yada. So those will be, $20 is the MSRP. It'll probably go for $40 to $50, just because of what's in it. So those aren't going to bring in those millions of dollars that they really want to see. The Battle Bond needs to do well. Dominaria is just killing it, so they're going to do super well there, which is great. But again, could we learn something about Battle Bond? Could we learn what's going on this fall? That would also be really nice. Could we get an announcement day at some point? Because I would appreciate that. That would be really great.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they had our earnings report, and it sucked. There was an announcement made.
I don't think that Magic is losing money. I just think that it's a math-related,
right. Again, this isn't
no reason to dance on Magic's grave just yet.
Right. This isn't like they lost $100 million. This is they didn't make as much money as last year, which was.
I do want to say real quick that in that earnings report, they specifically said that Dungeons and Dragons and Jenga had gone up.
Bless their hearts.
About that Jenga. All about that Jenga life.
That Jenga life. Sure, man. Go ahead.
Well, moving on to something entirely different. For Magic the Gathering Arena, over the last couple of weeks, they announced a creators program. And this is a Wizards creator program. I can imagine they used some of this for what they did today with all these streamers who they gave out MTG Arena product and special codes, and they gave them, accounts packed full of gems and cards and stuff, where essentially you can apply to be part of it. You have to agree to you have to agree to their code of conduct, so don't be a prick, and you have to have regular MTG Arena content streaming, which is also another thing, which makes sense. But with that, they'll give you program promotion, priority support, in-game rewards, early access, and unique in-game identifiers along with exclusive content. So that's really cool. You know what else been cool? If this showed up for Magic Online literally some point in the past 10 years, literally once, at all, ever.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you got a Microsoft guy in charge of things now, is that they have good ideas like this.
Yeah, I really like this. I think it gives creators something to shoot for. I've certainly seen frustration from, smaller creators, even mid-level creators who feel like they're doing everything they're supposed to and they're not getting the recognition that they feel they deserve. It outlines some very clear goals, concurrent viewership of 50 plus on a live streaming service, or video views of 1,000 plus on a video hosting service, regular MTG Arena content schedule of at least 4 hours streaming or one uploaded video per week, content that conforms to the code of conduct. There's one or two downsides though. Resident of United States or Canada, Lord knows we all know very talented people who happen to not live in North America. And so I'd like to see them eventually open those doors. But I think this is a really good thing. One of the frustrations that we had last year when we went to GP Vegas, we were invited to something called a Content Creator Summit. And I remember going into it thinking that it was going to be very reciprocal, that we were not only going to give feedback, but maybe we were going to get some pointers as to how to improve our creation game. And I was a little disappointed that it felt very one-sided, where we were giving them a lot of feedback, but we didn't really come away with very much as to how to step up our game. And so I really appreciate that they're trying to reach out to creators, trying to reward creators, trying to incentivize creators. Overall, I think this is a very good thing, and I hope that it gives people the motivation to step up and try to meet these goals. And I would love to see some new faces get the recognition that they deserve.
Y'all should, if you're trying to do this, by the way, you have the choice between 50 concurrent viewership on a live streaming service or video views of 1,000. Go for the 1,000 views. 50
the YouTube is much easier.
Much, much easier. 50 concurrent views is that's an astronomical number for somebody trying to break into anything. You can get your family and friends to click on a YouTube video. You can get to 1,000, not easily, but certainly easier than getting 50 people to watch you at a time.
Absolutely.
So it's great. First of all, to be clear, I'm very glad this exists. I'm glad we're going this direction. This is the right thing to do. It just sucks that it took us so long to get to this path. Like, this path had already been, paved over a million times by other games. It's like, oh, we finally got it for MTG Arena. It's like, well, Magic Online still exists.
To be fair, though, I think they did say officially that they haven't completely dismissed the idea of doing this for Magic Online. So there may still be a chance.
Fair enough. So you're telling me there's a chance. Aaron, tell us about the VSL.
Hi. So the news is out. I've been invited back for a second season of Vintage Super League. This is the Team Vintage Super League. So I'll be pairing with Rachel Agnes and Athena Froelich, who's coming from behind the camera.
Here you go.
We are going to be forming a team called the Hornet Queens, which I'm so excited about. We just submitted our decks for tomorrow night. We make our debut going up against these so many insane plays guys. And I'm just so excited to be back for another season. I really enjoy those girls, and I really respect the work that they do. We've been having a lot of fun sort of brewing and chatting in our little group, and I expect to see lots of bee emojis in the chat when we go live tomorrow, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And that is also proudly sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So good luck there, and to all the competitors, which is super cool. Always fun working with Randy.
A lot of big names. LSV is back. Brian Kelly is back. He was a very notable inclusion from the last season. Matt Sperling is joining us. Paul Rietzel is joining us. Ari Lax is coming along. Just a lot of big names. Rich Shea is going to be there. I believe they even got Montolio, Andy Marcaton, I think, on this season. Yep. He won the last vintage Eternal Weekend, and so just huge names this season, and we're just going to be all button heads, and it should be a really good time.
Oh man, so that sounds like super fun. However, you're also going to be streaming this coming Sunday, correct?
Yeah, it's part of our
on
Patreon.
This very channel.
Yeah, so I'll have one or two of my vintage decks with me. There's a very spicy Hollow One deck that recently 5-0'd a vintage league recently with Survival of the Fittest. And so I may drag that out and figure out how to play it, and it should be a good time. Maybe some Muldrotha EDH.
Yeah.
It's a little different this weekend, so I'll see what I come up with. But definitely be there. It should be a good time.
That sounds super cool. And I'm looking here now. I can actually see a list of everyone who's cheered with the bits thing, which is super cool. Thanks, everybody. However, I don't have an easy way to see who's subbed, which is weird. You would think that they would have easy tools for the subs and the cheers, but whatever. And I was also thinking we should go over these at the end of the show, because I'm going to talk to somebody who, and thank them, and also talk about.
Also, that reminds me, we were going to ask y'all in the chat, specifically the Twitch chat, because that's where we have the sub button, but Do y'all have a name? Do the fans of the show call themselves anything?
So to put it in context, so Kesha has her animals, and Rihanna has the Rihanna Navy, and Beyonce famously has the Beehive. But what are you guys? Like, what are our listeners? What do we? Someone came up with the mic stands.
Right. The mic
no,
stands.
I did. I'll say that. I did it. I'm not saying it's good, okay? But I do think where Ruben took it was really interesting.
So there's a thing in popular culture on Urban Dictionary called a stan, which is like a fan, like
Stan Britney.
Fan.
Yeah.
Right. So being the mic stands instead of the mic stand.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's a good pun action.
But typically the fans name themselves.
But yeah, the fans name themselves. So if you guys have a name, feel free to do that. And also when somebody subs, we'll get on the sub emote garbage as we can.
We need a potato.
We'll do it next week. We'll have a potato emote by next week, I promise. I'm sorry we didn't get around to it because I was setting stuff up even a day or two ago, because the onboarding process took way too long. Oh my god. But whatever. The tater tots, I like that. That's fun. The tater tots pretty powerful. The tater munge maniacs, I like that one.
That's mouthful.
That would be insane.
Look what you've done, Ruben.
I know, right? It's all your fault, dude.
Thanks, old laptop that didn't work properly. You've given birth to our entire culture of nicknames.
So good. All right, let's keep moving here. We got a bunch of topics. We're going to go infinite here, where I was personally affected by a problem that Magic Online had over the weekend. And as I mentioned before, like I spent a bunch of money on seals this past weekend. I loved it. I played a ton of Dominaria. It was absolutely great. But come to find out, 38 of the 42 legends in the set were not being distributed with foils. No foil versions of anything but Josuves, Muldrotha, Daragaz Reincarnated, and Shalai Voice of Plenty. Anything that was not those 4 cards, any legend, was not provided in foil to anyone. That's a problem.
That's a crazy thing.
It's a crazy thing. And first of all, Wizards was just like, somebody reported it, and they were just like, you need to reboot your computer or whatever stupid, random, obvious thing. And then they're like, no, this is the problem. This is a real issue. Let's talk about it. And they're like, well, we're going to escalate this and see what's going on. And then they kind of came out and they're like, hey, everybody, Legendary Foils are on Magic Online now. Yay, we fixed the problem. Bye. And I'm like, wait a minute. I gave you a whole bunch of money to play sealed Dominaria.
To buy a type of product, yeah,
to have a certain experience, to get a certain product, and to promise that product is going to provide a certain thing. Now, it was like I actually thought the problem wasn't as big as it was. I actually thought it was only 4 cards. It was literally the inverse. It was 38. That's a big number, uncommon and rare and mythic. Yeah. Like it's important sometimes when you get
especially when you're trying to launch Brawl as a thing.
Right.
People want to have foil copies of their general. 90% of the cards aren't available.
There was no foil Yargles, no foil Lyra Dawnbringers.
That's a huge oversargle.
Wow. And again, I'm trying to figure out, again, let's just say, I played in, just for argument's sake, I played in 10 seals, okay? Now, I played in a lot, man. And so if I played in 10 seals over the course of 3 to 4 days or whatever, is that how much of that should you get back, if there is any to get back at all? Should I get refunded? Could I get some play points? Are they going to distribute some random cards to people who participated in events? Where do you go from here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what percentage of all of the rares or mythics or legendaries are legendaries, I should say? What percentage of the time would a foil have been one of the missing cards? Yeah. I am not going to do that math off the top of my head, but 38 of 42 is roughly 90% of the time. If you're playing in 10 sealed events, you're opening 60 packs. A more than one of those packs mathematically is going to be affected. I don't know if it's 4, I don't know if it's 6, I don't know what the math is, but certainly more than one. It's certainly more than 1 in 60 packs. And so what is a foil legendary is going to have a huge impact on your sealed pool, whether it's a garbage card or not, because you have the legendary sorceries, you have the historic stuff. It's going to direct how good your sealed pool is. and so everyone had worse or less powerful or less synergistic pools, and therefore probably had less fun. And so it's weird. I mean, it's how much of the value is missing when those cards are missing from packs? I would say quite a bit, considering that the most expensive cards from the set, I would maybe half of them are creatures. Foil Lyra is going to be an expensive card, for example. So
you're mentioning, Ruben, how to determine the value, the sort of the dollars and cents and the power of the pool. But I would also, want to chime in that it's difficult to sort of quantitate, is the word?
Quantify.
Quantify, thank you. It's difficult to quantify an experience and how much an experience is worth. We were talking about it in the pre-show that you were saying that your experience, had been affected, that you didn't necessarily get the experience you pay for. What is the experience?
Emotional damage.
Well, right. What is the expectation? And I'm not saying you personally, but in general, what is the bottom line expectation that you have going into this? What is the, because I'm sure we've all gone to stores and maybe our pre-release wasn't maybe, the store wasn't as clean as we would like, or we didn't get the friendliest service. Does that count? Has our experience been affected by that somehow, and should we be compensated for that? And I think there's
as the people who get it first, obviously our experience is impacted in some way. Mm-hmm. And so some sort of reciprocity is probably or reciprocal.
Wow. God.
But on the back end, it's even worse for the retailers and the people who want to redeem full sets, because now, as you mentioned, foil Yargles aren't available, and so you can't. So that they're going to go through the roof in terms of price to the dealers. As I think that GoatBots was the first person to bring this to WotC or to Magic Online's attention. Well, they're one of the dealers, and also Cardhargle, which is a sponsor of this show, where you can get the best prices on Magic cards on Largle. But you can't, and so the prices of these cards are going to be skewed from their real life prices forever now, even if they have them in more numbers going forward, because they weren't available during the pre-release weekend. So it is definitely a sticky situaargle.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's cool. We're gonna move on here. We're gonna move on. Move Argle. There was a question on Reddit that showed up that was really interesting and just kind of highlights why is Dominaria so good, right? Mm-hmm. And someone mentioned, why are Richard Garfield's designs special? Because Richard has been involved in exactly 3 sets in 15 years. Okay, Ravnica, Innistrad, and Dominaria. 3 of some of the best sets ever made. To be clear, everyone please enjoy Dominaria, okay? This is like a golden age Magic set. This is one of those Magic sets that people are going to talk about for years, about how cool it was to play and draft and experience and all this other good stuff. Enjoy that, because when Richard Garfield gets involved, there's just something different and unique about it. And my God, he brings a lot of really cool stuff to the table. Sagas, the historic thing, and the idea that he could do like a Lich card that he really wanted to do. Lich in Alpha never did what he wanted to do. Lich's Mastery is this crazy thing that may even work in Standard, which is crazy. And Aaron, the basement's flooding, y'all. It's crazy. And that's awesome, because, but what makes it so good? Where's that special sauce? I don't know, but my God, those sets are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he is just a brilliant game mind on the scale of Gary Gygax, on the scale of the all-time greats. The guy who has an unpronounceable name that made code names. He's in just the top 5, top 10 all time. In addition to creating Magic not by himself, but being the creator of Magic, where he was on the design team for Alpha, Beta, and Unlimited, which at the time, those were those, and then for another decade, were probably some of the best designed and beautiful sets. If you listen to the recent Limited Resources, they did a set review of Alpha, and they talk about how it's just so elegant in its design. In addition to Ravnica and Innistrad, he's credited with Cycling, he's credited with Kicker, he's credited with Flashback. Oh, by the way, he made King of Tokyo and Netrunner. He's just this brilliant dude. That also doesn't have the fatigue. Like, this has become such a massive machine that people working in there every day, it's possible. I'm not saying that they are overworked or anything, but it's that outsider perspective. And so it's always nice when you have somebody like Richard who sees Magic as something he's proud of, but not as the game to end all games. He's like, everyone else is like, I work at Magic the Gathering, the world's greatest card game. And he's like, I created Magic, but look at this new thing I'm making for Valve, right? He's just like, have you listened to my new stuff?
I think there might also be an element of maybe yes people. You mentioned sort of people who are working on it so much that they develop fatigue. There might also be an atmosphere of people who work together so much that maybe they're loath to kind of rock the boat a little bit. But when you have somebody who's more of an outsider, they feel a lot more free to sort of share their outside the box ideas. And also, when you're Richard Garfield, you could pretty much just be like, yeah, we're doing double morph. We're doing double kicker. Yeah. It's happening. And
we're printing three-sided cards.
Right. Who's really going to question that? Whereas if maybe a different cog in the machine were to suggest these sort of outside the box things, they maybe wouldn't be received as well. So maybe that's part of it too, is that he's not afraid to rock the boat, and because he is who he is, he has more leeway to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's and I'd also note that we're getting down to almost in the show here, and I'm trying to be like, hey, we need to thank all of our subscribers. The way I found out the name of our subscribers? When you go to the back end of Twitch, I had to have them mail me a CSV text file of our subscribers. There wasn't a page that just said like subscribers.
Wow.
Guys, come on. I'm sorry. That's BS. But regardless, Richard Garfield is amazing. I think he did incredible work, and they all did. Again, this is the golden trio. This is Rosewater, Garfield, and Eric Lauer. God help me. The point is, it's an amazing trio that did amazing work. Yeah. It's terrific. However, someone who has really impacted, I guess, Magic, honestly, at this point, hashtag that Hearthstone money, in splash damage, because Ben Brode just left Hearthstone.
Yeah.
This is the guy basically who led the team to create the game.
Yep. For the last 10 years or whatever, he's led that team and oversaw Hearthstone's explosion in popular culture. This is a big deal. This is like Mark Rosewater quitting, not retiring, quitting to go do something else, which he hints at. He's going to go make a card game somewhere else. Ben Brode is a very well-known, also public face of Hearthstone. He was sort of the Helene equivalent. Or more like, it would sort of be like how often Helene would respond to folks on Twitter, combined with Mark Rosewater being in charge of making the game. So he's just this huge pillar in Hearthstone. With him leaving, there is a huge vacancy there. I'm sure they're going to be fine in terms of design and development of the cards, but yeah, it's just noteworthy.
I mean, they lost a big face for the game. I mean, that's, when in terms of like, I think of, Hearthstone, I think Kibler and Ben Brode, and like there's some others in there, don't get me wrong, but like that's, to me, is someone who isn't really, I haven't played Hearthstone in like a year or two, but now like it's a $20 million monster, and he was at the head of it, and now he's not, on his own, like on his own volition of like, I want to go do something else now. That's big news. And
I'm gonna miss his big booming voice. I'm gonna miss all that.
All right, so I can get them gloves on. Because we're going to the red zone.
I'm glad you guys stayed for. We've had 70 minutes of warm up. Now for the main course. All right. Let's go.
Here we go. All right. So
you'll be happy to know that I am over here by myself on this topic. By the way,
as you should be.
Spoiler alert. Well, unfortunately, I have. Well, fortunately for me, no spoilers. Someone with a bigger name than all y'all is on my side. So.
Wow. Well, let me tell you. There was a tweet from Tolarian Community College, our friend Brian, who was retweeting a different one that said Target in the Bay Area is selling what appears to be welcome decks in 2-packs for $24.99, and these are the clear, sort of ugly plastic cases with the prepackaged cards inside of them, with the big price sticker slapped on the front of them. And Tolarian Community College says, I wonder if Wizards_Magic on Twitter knows how much product being sold like this at big box stores really hurts their brand. Like, a lot. Maybe some other company is doing it, but it's hurting the MTG brand in my humble opinion, and not worth whatever profit they may be getting. To which point I say, what's the problem here? They're literally just selling Magic. They're selling Magic in a different way. I sell Magic in a different way every single day. Like, there's a million different ways to package Magic cards. Well, some people would argue
you sell it in the same way.
But
I had to.
It's fine. It's cool. The point is, like, again, you create Magic products to sell Magic, and if it's a product that people like enough to buy and it continues to sell, what's the harm in making it? I'm not really sure what the issue is here. Ruben, can you enlighten me as to what is the problem exactly? Yeah. What brand damage are we doing here?
Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, why are Aaron and Evan wrong, and why do I hate them?
You gonna sniff your packs for inspiration?
This product is nothing short of predatory. All right, selling free starter packs plus a land station for $25 to friends, parents, family members looking for a gift for a loved one, or to a new Magic player who's just not knowledgeable looking to start a new collection, is just wrong. It's behavior that's bad faith, and it's taking advantage of people who are buying a product because they don't know any better. Okay. For WotC specifically, it's bad business.
No, so to be clear, so this is different than what I was thinking. For me, this was like a welcome deck wasn't free to stores, whereas these welcome decks are free to hand out to players. And see, that's not cool. You don't take something that's free and then you resell it.
Sell it. That's what they're doing.
That's different. Now, for me, I was like, you're just putting.
And then they're like stapling. They're stapling like a promo onto the front of it.
Right, and that's happened for a long time now for Walmart promos and whatnot. But like, the idea of taking something free and selling it, not cool. The idea of taking Magic cards and putting them in a box and selling them.
A land station and like a starter deck, and then like maybe 2 promos, and selling it for $25.
And some packs as well, to be fair.
And 2 packs from like sets.
How is Target even getting land stations? Like, I didn't think that was something you could just buy off the shelves.
Well, note that Target is not doing any of this. Target, they have sort of an outside sort of, I don't know if it's a contractor or some sort of business agreement, where someone external from Target comes in and fills in that space. They take care of that whole section. All the Pokemon, all the Card Fight Vanguard, if you got that stuff, all the Magic, all the Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff is taken care of by different sort of contractor broker companies, and they make those products and they sell those products. So when you see Chaos Draft boxes or whatever in Walmart, which I have seen them before now, that was created by someone who is at those companies and reselling that product. There's huge companies out there who do nothing but buy bulk and repackage
and that's
it to
cool
things and
as
sell
long as it's priced in an acceptable manner.
Right.
This is not. This is preying on unknowledgeable shoppers.
Right, and that's not cool. It's not, well, for me, unknowledgeable could be different. It's the idea that you're selling the free thing. Don't sell the free thing.
This is the argument. This is why TCC got pissed. This is why he got upset on Twitter. And by the way, when there's an issue of Magic the Gathering finance and the professor is on one side and y'all are on the other, maybe rethink that decision.
Well, he's also on the side of that young man who faked a signature too, so let's not do that. But
faked a signature?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You didn't hear about the Chris Rush and the fake signature?
There's a fake signature on a Black Lotus.
I see.
Yeah. In any case, that's a different issue entirely.
And that's fair.
But yeah, I just maybe think a little bit, because
well, look, I'm still okay with
known for being wrong.
Well, look, if it's just about like Magic cards are in this ugly box and there's not enough value for the money, that's different. That to me is like, well, you're a consumer, you can buy whatever you want, you don't have to buy anything, okay. If you're taking a free product from Wizards and then selling it for a profit, that to me is the problem, for what it's worth. I don't think there's a lot of brand damage being done in that you paid too much for something versus they're taking advantage of Wizards.
Right, but it's allowing that Wizards allowing them to do it in the first place is what's the brand damaging part.
So you're saying that Wizards
either
should flex some
WotC
sort of
gave them
muscle
to stop it from happening. Either WotC gave them the okay to do it, or they don't care, and neither is acceptable. If they gave permission,
once the product's out the door for Wizards, once the product is in the distributor hands, once the product's been sent out, that's it. Wizards doesn't care.
Is my point. They should care because it makes Wizards of the Coast look bad.
I mean, arguably, I guess, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Does it?
But on the hierarchy of things that make Wizards look bad, this is pretty low on the totem pole.
Yeah, but this is an easy one to do. Either they gave the okay or they don't care. If they gave the okay, they should revoke it because it hurts them. And if they're not involved, then
you have to demonstrate that it hurts them, though. I guess is the question. Like, how would you demonstrate to them? How would you convince them?
Because losing potential customers by.
But that's not a fact, though. Like, if I could see if you had an argument, like if you could, because Wizards seems like the type of company that you would have to demonstrate that. You would have to say to them, "Hey, this is screwing up your jam here." But I think you can to use things like there's possibility in this, to use these vague futuristic terms. That's not going to convince them. It's obvious that this is something they need to be convinced of, and I'm not hearing anything from you that convinces them that this is a thing.
Okay, so either way, we're going to have to wrap it up, and I would note to say, hey, thank you, MTG Young Mage. He has to go to bed, but honestly, we're not that far off personally. It's fine. But before he leaves, thanks much for the sub.
I don't want to end this. Not Young Mage. I can't end this segment without really hammering this home. You're selling Magic cards to have future customers. This does not a future customer make, all right? You give the customers the best product at the best value you can as a company so that you can continue selling Magic cards to those people going forward. When you allow third-party big box retailers like Target to take advantage of people, you lose customers. That's why it's bad.
I mean, all right. I mean, again, for me, Wizards, they've sold the product's gone. There are third parties that repackage it in different ways. I don't really it just doesn't even say new player anywhere on it. Now it does use the new player decks, and that's my problem with it personally. However, there is the shiny Planeswalker deck right there in front of you. There is the shiny deck builders toolkit in front of you. Like there is the gift pack.
You should absolutely buy those instead.
And you should. And I'm just saying that, like, for what it's worth, that's a pretty ugly package. And if that's where you're going, like, okay, you wanted some Magic cards. It's not the end of the world.
Don't sell free things, as Ninja Chico 42 says. That's a good start.
Yeah, no, you should absolutely not do that. That to me is a problem. However, we have a giveaway, a free booster box of Dominaria. Congratulations to Jason C. from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh my goodness.
Got himself a free booster box of Dominaria. We'll be shipping out this Friday along with the other Dominaria stuff we've given away. We gave away a bundle, I think, a few weeks ago, and some other stuff, a popper pack, a couple popper packs. Those will go out as well.
Or Pauper, as my friend Kendra calls it. Pauper.
Nope.
Pauper to the people.
No.
Pauper.
Yeah. Would like to thank our new subscribers for this show, being MTG Young Mage, Parzival 12607, Jersey Bricklayer, JBA 734, and H2O Happy Dude.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very, very much. For those who gave us some bits, Riptide Pro Lab, 00 Busy Hands, The Maverick Girl, Ramiel 177, Thunder Divorce 1, Magius 1, Illiday 18, Swifty Chaos, Raiden, and FPNY 41. Thank you guys so very, very much. You are awesome, and we appreciate it. All right, so we're going to turn the corner here to the finisher. Now, I don't have it up. Right here we go. This is the first episode of Magic Mike since completing the complete Dominaria set review. So, with a week's worth of rest and recharging under our belts, we've had some time to reflect. So in the future, what do you think we should add for the Magic Mike's complete M19 set review, Ruben?
Well, for the next set review, which we're planning on filming in July in Orlando for some godforsaken reason, we're going to be sending out a keepsake that Magic Mike's has become known for. Ruben Bressler signed potatoes.
Yes. Panic at the Disco, I guess, has started receiving potatoes for some reason. It was a weird headline I read. Someone's sending Panic at the Disco potatoes.
That would cause a Panic at the Disco.
Yeah. Taters everywhere. Yeah. Aaron?
Well, people really loved our special guests. So for M19, we're definitely going to be bringing back in Magic celebrities that the people have been clamoring for. And by Magic celebrities, I mean Reed Duke. And by the people, I mean me. It's Bay.
Mm-hmm. That's right, BAE. That's right.
And by bringing them in, we mean abducting them in our car.
Having them in Orlando for some godforsaken reason.
Yeah.
Now, in celebration of Magic Mike's successful set review Kickstarter, I'm excited for Team Magic Mike's in the next Team Super League, assuming Aaron puts in a good word with Randy and is all right with a downgrade in teammates from the Hornet Queens. Because we're not that cool. We are not that cool.
Oh my goodness.
It'll be a bit of a hit to your clout, to your reputation, if you will. But
I guess I can slum it with y'all. I guess.
Well, that ends another episode of Magic Mike's. Thank you for joining us here live to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Yeah, thank you, Ruben.
Thank you, and thanks to our new subs and bits people. This is exciting.
Easy.
I'm so excited. We're gonna have some super cool stuff. I'm gonna get learnt over the next week.
Great.
And we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get some learnings.
And I'll see some of y'all at Grand Prix Columbus this weekend. Come on out if you want some tokens and some things signed and wanna spell sling against me.
Oh, that sounds great. As we move on to our final slide, I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsor, CardHoarder.com, my co-hosts, Aaron Campbell and Ruben Bressler. You guys for watching. I hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMikes. Visit our website at MagicMikesPodcast.com or follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online at Twitch.tv at Magic Mikes, on Twitter at Magic Mikes Cast, our Magic Mikes subreddit, and the Magic Mikes page on Facebook. Talk to us privately at MagicMikesPodcast@gmail.com. Follow the audio-only podcast at MagicMikesPodcast@Libsyn.com, or find us on iTunes or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mikes. Good night, everybody.